Criticism of the Act of 1919. Guys, in previous two clips we discussed the Government of India Act 1919, that's the Montego-Chelmsford reforms. While discussing the Government of India Act 1919 or Montego-Chelmsford reform, we had taken an overview of the overview of basic features of the Government of India Act 1919. And today, guys, we are going to criticize that act. Although that act was a wonderful attempt, a beautiful piece of legislation given by the British government to Indians, but still it had number of drawbacks. It was an improvement in the Government of India Act 1909, but still there were number of things that had to be fixed. So today we are going to highlight some demerits or negative points of the Government of India Act 1919. The first thing was that under the Government of India Act 1919, diarchy was introduced in India, and especially the diarchy was introduced in the provincial governments. And this system of diarchy is opposite to the political theory, because under diarchy the subjects were distributed, or on the other hand we can say that at the same time two governments were working in a single unit, which is against the political theory. Diarchy, you know that it means the powers are divided into by making two different sections of government in a same unit, which is totally against the political theory. The powers should be under a single authority. This could create number of issues. For example, because of the diarchy, a constant tussle was present between ministers and councillors. Ministers were actually the representatives of people. Ministers were representatives of people, so they had their own interests, and the councillors, they were nominees of bureaucracy, and they had their own interest. Usually the political appointees prefer to achieve short-run objectives, while councillors don't do that. If councillors are the nominees of bureaucracy, especially the bureaucracy don't care about the short-run objectives, while the political appointees primarily focus on the short-run objectives. This creates a constant tussle between the ministers, who were the representatives of the people, and the councillors, who were the nominees of bureaucracy. And the ministers were in a very weak position because they had to satisfy two masters. The first one was the governor, and the second was the legislature. They had to satisfy governor and legislature at the same time. Now these ministers were actually appointed by governors, so they had to work on the pleasure of governor. It was the governor who had the authority to appoint ministers, and who had the authority to dismiss them. So that's why they had to satisfy governor. And on the other hand, they were answerable to legislature. See, they were appointed by somebody else, and they were answerable to somebody else. So this created a very weak position for ministers. This was another major drawback, and too much power was given to governor and governor general. In previous clip, I told you that how vast powers were given to governor and governor general. If you have not watched that video, please do subscribe to our channel and visit that clip as well. And Department of Finance was under a member of Executive Council, while the Nation Building Department was under ministers. So this was another very major drawback. This was a major drawback because money was in the hand of somebody else, and another person was made responsible for the nation building. And and in budget there were a list of non-votable items, which was also a drawback. So basically there were two major mistakes in the act which had to be fixed. The first one was the system of diarchy. This first was the system of diarchy, and the second one was the too much powers to governor and governor general. These were the root causes of, or these were the basic issues which had created other issues as well. Thank you for joining. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and press bell icon. Once again, thanks for joining. Take care. Goodbye.